Well, I am just here to share with you the incredible miracle that God is doing in our son's life, Benjamin. Benjamin has shown over the past few years a lot of dyslexic type symptoms, and we actually had him tested a little over a year and a half ago, and through that found that he definitely has a lot of the symptoms, and it was no wonder that he was struggling so much with his reading and math and just life skills. And so we started praying, my husband and I, about what to do and what God's will would be in this. And through a series of events, he just landed us right here in our backyard at Moses Lake to the NLD program. And when I first spoke with Julie about it and we started talking, and I saw how much God's hand was in the NLD program and how God had brought us to it, I just began to cry knowing this was God's answer. And then we started the program when Benjamin was 8, which is just a year ago now, and began working hard. Benjamin has worked really hard, like a lot of the kids do, and was within about a month that we began to see a change. We clean our church, and part of his job and his brother's job was to set up specific rooms. And there would be like 20 chairs, and they'd have to do 5 configurations of 4 chairs in each room, and each room was different. And so for Benjamin, having a real time with order, a real hard time with sense of order, that's where we began to see the first improvement. One day I went down to see how he was coming along, and he had needed no help. He had the room set up. I thought his brother had told him what to do. I asked his brother, and he said, no, Benjamin just remembered. And that in itself was just a huge encouragement to us that something was going on in his mind, a change was happening. And then the next area we saw improvement was in his reading, his fluency. There was zero fluency basically when we started the program. He could decode words, he knew the phonograms upside down and backwards, but actually reading smoothly just was not happening. About 2 months into the program, he began to read fluently. A couple grade levels under, but fluently. And now he is probably just a half a grade behind, so he moved up almost 2.5 years in 1 year with what he can read comfortably. But I think the biggest shock came to us this fall when we came back after 3 months of not doing actual sit-down therapy or coming to the program for twice a week. And it was hard, but we decided early on in the summer we're going to go ahead and do like they say and do the rhythmic writing and the fluency reading and some of the other exercises throughout the summer. We didn't make it every day, and we took 2 weeks vacation, but consistently 4 to 5 times a week, and not really knowing what we were going to expect when we came back, thinking probably be about the same place, maybe not have lost any ground. And when we came 2 weeks ago, Julie was floored, and so were we, at the incredible way he was able now to just make order of his pages. He could, instead of just doing 2 blue book words, he was able to fly through a whole page of writing. She would dictate, he would be able to find the right spot on the page immediately. He has just improved incredibly, we can't even believe it. And then being as a homeschooler, also when we started this school year, before we came back to therapy this year, I already was aware myself that there's been some changes that have gone on. He was able before to only do about half of his math page in 30 minutes, which is about 30 problems. And it took him a long time to figure out where to go next, what he was doing, what the process was. And now he sits down and does a page in 10 minutes, 30 problems in 10 minutes, no problem, follows the order. That when we first had Benjamin tested, we have a really good friend who's a school psychologist, and so we took him to him over in Montana and had him tested, and he told us, he said, I love you guys, and he's a believer too, and he said, I'm telling you that with the way these tests are showing, I really don't believe that you're going to see any changes in those areas of his brain. I don't think that they can improve, but compensational techniques can be taught. And so we went over and visited him this last summer, and he's just going, I'm eating my words. So it's pretty encouraging all the way around.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I don't know what you're thinking about. So yeah, the big thing was the summer, right?
Yeah.
The big.
I think all of it has been, but I think the surprise, because when you're not doing it for that period of time, you have no idea what's really because we weren't sitting down doing any schoolwork. We were just doing the exercises.
Yeah, so you're not sure if it's really paying off, or you just...
Yeah, and then we sit down and it was like, and I knew, like I said, from starting school, that
Yeah.
when he sat down and did a whole math page, I'm going, something's changed. But then to come here and have Julie go, wow.
Yeah.
So she goes, look what he's doing. There's no way he could have done anything near this when
That's
he left
cool.
last year. So all I can say is I just give God the glory. As we prayed about this program, we knew that God could bring healing to Benjamin, but we also knew and trusted God that if it wasn't his plan for Benjamin, if it was his plan for Benjamin to struggle in this area of his life for God's glory, that would be okay too. That God has answered with a yes and has brought healing, and we pray for more. And that's all.